Cantor Arts Center at Stanford University, museum.stanford.edu.
I'm Latrish Ross, and I've been here for almost 13 years.
My name is Steve Lupkeman, and I've been here since June 1999, 13 years, 6 months after it opened.
My name is Carol Wick, and I've been here just about 7 years.
Michael Kemp, about 2 years.
This is one of my favorite pieces, Slapman. I guess it's my favorite piece because of it. It's realistic, and it's just like so much detail. I mean, down to the hair on his body. My daughter, she's more of the socialite and more of the person that wants to interact and curious and wants to get to see things. While my son, he's more standoffish and laid back and more of a scaredy cat. But when they came here to see this sculpture, two different emotions. It's like they turned into the opposite.
People always react to them, I mean, in a good way, in a bad way. It's funny because the women will react, but the men don't.
Well, this one reminds me of somewhat of my childhood because grew up in a religious background. We would always go to church and on Sundays and Sunday school, and they always teach us do the right from wrong. If you do the wrong thing, you go to hell, and if you do the right thing, you go to heaven.
It's historical for me because I spent a year in England with my father and my stepmother, and we went to Paris and saw the Rodin Museum and all, and I was greatly impressed, but I was just overwhelmed by the thinker. And then when I came back here and it came back to us, I went to look at it, and it just seemed so powerful, so much more than I remembered. I have 4 kids that are all grown. They gave me 2 granddaughters, and I really enjoy the little kids that come through here. Some of them are just totally bored, but a lot of them are just so excited and seem to understand what they're excited about.
I like the one of Yosemite Valley. When my brothers and I were kids, we went up to Yosemite Valley, and I walked up Yosemite Falls, and that was the only time that my 2 brothers and I went on vacation.
I love Frank Stella. He's like one of my favorite artists, and every time I see his colors and all the vivid, even though it's like different dimensions, different kind of shapes and movement, it always brings me back to happy times. And I always think about Disneyland and different things that we've done that was fun.
I didn't like it at first because it was massive and it just kind of seemed all jumbled together. But as I looked at it, I could see different types of sea creatures in there. Apparently, Frank Stella is the person who did the artwork, and he was inspired by Moby Dick.
One day I was in the other side of the gallery, and I looked over, and there was this little woman sitting on the bench before it, and tears were running down her eyes. And I came over to her, and she says, "Isn't it wonderful?"
Well, we had quite a few artists here, and had a party for former president. I had my picture taken with him, and my dad, he was a very conservative person, so it was around his birthday, and I gave my dad a 8x10 photograph of me and the president.
Which president was this?
President Clinton.
Rules, 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 rules.
Just follow the rules.
We try to be nice about it.
I think like this job is like the best job as far as being around people and being in a less stressful situation, but not everybody wants to oblige by our rules. This is the only crazy, like funny story that I can really remember is that one of our visitors outside looking at the Rodin pieces, his dog was kind of roaming around. As we opened up the museum, the dog got into the museum, and so it was kind of running around. We're kind of chasing it down, and he comes here still, the visitor. Can't forget him because of that dog incident.
I did have a gentleman who was downstairs in the Rodin gallery, and the gentleman wanted to take off his clothes and say, "Can I be like Rodin?" And I said, "No, sir, you cannot be like Rodin."
Usually when people ask me, what is the best thing for me to go see, I'll be like, well, You know, if the changing gallery is closed, I'll be like, well, you know, what are you interested in? That's what you're going to get the most out of, is seeing what you really are interested in. So if it's contemporary, if it's African, if it's Asian, whatever you feel like you are more interested in is what you should go see.